Welcome back to Carsen Taite's video log, and we're live in Dallas. Oh
Big
no!
D.
And here with Dallas, I mean, not Dallasite. What are you, a Phoenician?
Now what?
Yeah, what do you call that if you're from Phoenix?
I guess that makes you a Phoenician. Either that or it makes you a conservative, which I'm not.
Not. So we're here with Phoenician Lynn Ames, also known as a lesbian fiction writer, right? AKA. And publisher as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your new publishing company.
Fairly new, relatively new. Phoenix Rising Press. I actually created Phoenix Rising Press because I wanted to do a good karma thing. I know that sounds kind of odd, but that was my intention. I was looking around and I was seeing a lot of voices that didn't have a current home. And I thought, you know, here's something I can do. Cool. I can provide a home. And I had done a lot of research and a lot of studying and
there is
models and so on and so forth. And I wanted to do something a little different. You know, I don't want to compete with anybody. That's not my intention. I wanted to provide something different, an alternative that was mostly traditional, but not, you know, but the financial part of the model is not necessarily traditional.
Do you mind saying? Like,
no,
you know, so what's different about Phoenix Rising Press?
The authors have a lot more control in the model that I created. I don't want to get into contracts.
No. I'm just
because I don't want to deal with what everyone else is doing. But for me, it was if an author has something in their heart that they want to write. I don't care how many pages it is because that's their decision.
Right.
Everything is stringent in terms of the traditional side. Everything is stringently edited. Everything is, you know, run through the submissions process. Everything works like a traditional
publishing house.
The one thing I couldn't do up front is provide all of the production costs. You know, so the reason I was looking for more experienced authors is because I want them to excel. And I want them to know already that they can excel. I don't want to set somebody up for failure. I want them to know that they can succeed. And so in this model, they have buy-in, if you will. So they're part of the process. They're invested in it. They can do as much or as little marketing as they want. I've spent a lifetime in public relations and marketing, and I'm going to do a lot of the traditional marketing. Sure. But I wanted them to have an option to participate and to have a full voice in the process.
Sounds cooperative.
It is. It's a consortium. Is what it is.
Consortium. That sounds so much more fun to say.
Oh, I know.
Consortium.
Very British.
Yes. Cooperative. Not so much.
Let's have tea.
Right, Jane Fletcher's like rolling over right now.
She constantly tells me I have the worst British accent in the entire universe. Please don't do it ever again. And so here I am doing it. There you go. So there, take that. You know, for me, I wanted them to get maximum financial benefit on the other end. And so that's what I'm doing.
Excellent.
It would be a bad thing to say out loud, and I'll say it anyway. I don't really intend to make money on this. That's not what I'm here for. I'm facilitating something. And that's the way I looked at it. It's a good karma thing.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I hope you get some good karma back to you.
It all comes around.
So, talking about good things, let's talk about your latest novel, Eyes on the Stars.
Good segue.
Cool. I really enjoyed this novel.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
not, you know, I used to say I'm not a fan of the historical novel, but I've given that up because there's so many I just love. It is a lie.
It's a lie.
It was just one of those things I just hadn't tried enough of them.
Right.
So this one was very unique because it's about a time period and an element of that time period that most people don't know about.
And that's why I wrote it.
So tell us about the book, and then tell us about what.
Okay, sure. Eyes on the Stars is the story of two women who were part of the Women Airforce Service Pilots.
WASPs.
The WASPs from World War II. And this is it was a lost period in history, in essence, because the WASPs did so many things. They were pilots. They flew every plane the men flew in World War II, every single one. And many that the men wouldn't fly, they flew in order to prove that they could be flown. In fact, they flew the B-29 before the men flew the B-29 because the men were afraid to get in the thing that bombed Hiroshima. The men were afraid to fly it. They thought it was so big it wouldn't fly.
So the women flew it to show them that they would...
Exactly. They took two WASPs and they had them fly it instead and said, well, if the women can do it, you know, they shamed them into flying. They shamed them into flying.
Okay, that's pretty
so sad, but that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Women are always leading the way. But anyway, so these women, I decided to tell the story about these two women flyers who were in love. They fell in love. And the story of their lives and how difficult their lives must have been in that era. To be a lesbian in that era was incredibly difficult.
And it's a beautiful. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, so I won't. But it is a beautifully told romance, but very untraditional in its telling.
It is untraditional in its telling, and that was a trick.
Yeah.
That
So
was hard.
why that?
You know, I thought about and discarded several options for telling the story, because the story, it's fair.
Isn't this driving y'all crazy because you don't know what we're talking about? If you haven't read the book.
No, but I mean,
buy the book.
Buy the book. Please buy the book. PhoenixRisingPress.com. It's a commercial over. It's fair to say that the book tells their story through time, and it starts in the present day. It goes back to the beginning in World War II, and then it flies up through every decade. Flies up through every decade until we get to the present day again. And I decided, you know, there were so many ways to tell the story, but I wanted you to get the emotion of the characters.
You definitely do.
Yeah. I wanted people to really feel what they felt as they felt it, and in order to do that, it was hard to find a way to tell the whole story. And what I settled on, and I think it's fair to give that much away, I decided to tell it through a series of letters from one character to the other that never got sent, but eventually get discovered and read. And so that's the way I decided to tell the story. It's the first book I've ever written strictly from one person's point of view. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I could do that.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun. I love these characters.
So,
I love these characters.
What kind of research did you do for the book?
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm sure you did tons,
What
but
kind of
tell us
research
the
did I?
favorite thing that you did.
You know,
as
I was an
research.
American history major, so for me, research is sometimes fun. Not always
Right.
fun, but it's sometimes fun. But I had a chance to really dig into these characters, and I was able to talk to some of the WASPs myself. I watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of interviews with them. I read many, many books. I got in touch with the woman who had started an organization called Wings Across America, which is a wonderful organization, wingsacrossamerica.com, that is committed to keeping the lives of the WASPs in the forefront, which it should be, really. And so I was able to ask her some questions. Her mother was a WASP, so I was able to ask her some questions, some of the technical things that I couldn't find anywhere else. So it was a combination of traditional book research and interview research and internet research and all of the, and actually I went in person and learned how to crash land a plane.
Cool.
Yeah, that was wicked cool. And I didn't have to do it in order to learn it.
Yes.
Even better yet, I lived to tell the tale. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I learned so many things, and I met so many really interesting people.
I bet that was the best part.
Fascinating. Well, you know, it's almost a lost generation for us. I talked to one of the women who was in the very first WASP class. She's 92 years old.
Wow.
92. You know, if she turned sideways, you'd lose her.
Yeah.
Tough as nails and really informative and so sharp. I mean, if I'm 92 and I'm that sharp, please let me be that sharp at 92. Please let me be that sharp. But it was fascinating to learn everything that she went through and how she got invited into the WASP. She actually invited herself into the WASP and how it all happened and why her parents let her go. There were a lot of things about the details that were difficult. You know, the history part of a book like that is easy because it exists in history. It's the details, like the social details.
The vernacular, what they wear, what they
wear,
they drink.
How long did it take to get from place to place?
Exactly.
Did they have a sarsaparilla or were they drinking milkshakes?
Yeah.
You know.
And I noticed a lot of those details, and I could tell, you know,
Yay!
I don't know if they're accurate or not, but they seemed very, well, I've done the research myself, and I'm not going to, but they felt authentic.
Thank you.
And that's really all that matters.
And that's what I hope for. You know, every book that I write, and you're probably the same way, I imagine, I want to make sure that if an expert in that topic reads that piece of the book, it makes sense. Not that it happened that way, but that it could happen that way.
Exactly.
That it's
it doesn't
possible.
jar you out of the story.
Exactly right. It can't jar you out of the story. And I'm not. So each section I send to the expert in that field, and I say, did I get it right? And if I didn't get it right, would you tell me what's wrong about it and how to fix it?
Exactly.
You know, and that I find that works. I don't know, that works for me.
It totally works for me, and I'm lucky to have people I can call and say, I need to know what a dead body looked like. You know.
I started writing an email to a friend of mine once. He's CIA Black Ops. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but I needed to blow somebody up, essentially, in a casket.
You need to write, this is just for informational purposes.
I started typing out this entire email to him, and I'm like, okay, the main character is going to be 10 feet away, so I need to make sure that the face is intact, but I need to be injured, but not fatally injured, and this person needs to be fatally injured, and it needs to look like this. Yep. And I put this all in an email, and I get to the end, and I'm like, what are you doing, idiot? Homeland Security is absolutely going to love you. I deleted the entire email, and I wrote 2 words. Call me.
Exactly.
And he did about 2 minutes later. I'm like, well, Homeland Security may like my phone lines, but they don't need to like my internet too.
All right, so no one's allowed to rest on their laurels.
I have laurels.
Do you know someone named Laurel? No, just kidding.
Hardy perhaps.
So what are you working on now?
I have a book that will be coming out. I'm looking at a bunch of things at one time. I have a book that will be coming out, I haven't decided, in June or in September. I can be influenced with the right amount of chocolate or money.
Okay.
I'm just saying I can be influenced with the right amount of chocolate or money. But I have a book coming out. It's a pure thriller. It's a political thriller.
Excellent.
And that will be coming out, like I said, in that time frame. I'm working on a couple screenplays for a couple of my books.
Excellent.
And I'm working on a couple of television type things that I would tell you, but then I have to tell you, and then I'd need a good criminal defense attorney, and there would not be one available.
Please don't kill me.
No.
That got, sir?
So, lots to look forward to from Lynn Ames. Eyes on the Stars, buy it now.
Buy it now.
PhoenixRisingPress.com, right?
PhoenixRisingPress.com, or you can go to my website, lynnames.com, and buy it through there, which takes you to PhoenixRisingPress.com, oddly enough. Imagine.
It's a circular
It's
world.
a circular world, not because they make it that way, but because we allow it to be.
All right, well that was fun, this part here.
Yeah, this
I'm
part
kind
here.
of getting dizzy.
I'm a little mesmerized.
Okay, Lynn, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This is Carsen Taite's Video Log, signing out.